I've been using the M1 MacBook Air now for about a year, and in all honesty, I love this computer. I released a video recently saying how much I really like this computer, but the truth is that I could probably get another 2 to 3 years out of this laptop without any issues. I never really feel like I'm pushing the computer really to its limits and really utilizing it for the amount of power that's really inside of it. But when Apple announced the new MacBook Pros with the M1 Pro and M1 Max chips, my first thought was, how can these chips really get any faster? And let me tell you something, they get a whole lot faster. I bought like the middle ground 14-inch M1 Pro MacBook Pro. God, what a horrible, that's a mouthful. Anyways, it has the 10-core CPU, the 16-core GPU, 16 gigs of RAM, and a terabyte SSD. What I wanted to see is if it was worth me, like myself, upgrading from the M1 Air to the M1 Pro Pro. And if anybody else in my similar scenario should switch. And I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. Is my workflow intense enough that I need to upgrade to the M1 Pro? Probably not. But am I keeping it? Absolutely. Now the M1 Air is still my favorite laptop that Apple's offering right now. Even though it is not as good as the M1 Pro and the M1 Max chipset computers, the M1 Air is the best bang for your buck computer that I've seen in a really long time. You know, base model $1,000 is so good and so fast that I think for majority of people in the world, that is the perfect computer. And let's just be honest too, you don't even have to get it at $1,000. There's so many places that offer the M1 Air at like $800. So at $800, I think that is truly an affordable laptop that would last extremely long amounts of time for a majority of people in the world. These new MacBook Pros though, they're on a completely different level. In my short time of using them and testing them out, I don't think I've even gotten a thing to sweat yet. These computers are made for people that do intense work on them. In my time, I've been editing 4K video, I've been doing some music production in Logic, I've even done some gaming on it, and in all honesty, I don't really seem to be pushing the chip in any way whatsoever. So I use Final Cut to edit all my videos, and editing in that and exporting that is just a breeze. It doesn't even feel like I'm dropping any frames. Export is crazy fast, but that's kind of what you expect from a first-party Apple program, and so I tried out on Premiere, and well, it kind of worked the same. I did have a couple drop frames in playback, but overall, export was so fast that it was actually surprising, especially with Premiere, because that can be really slow sometimes. I did some music production in Logic, and honestly, running around, I had a 15-track project going on. In all honesty, EQing and changing effects, that kind of thing, didn't really ever slow down. It never felt like the computer was trying to play catch up with what I was trying to do. It was in a way kind of ahead of me. And I did some light gaming. And let's be honest, Macs aren't gaming computers. And the M1 Air did have some issues with gaming, and specifically because it doesn't have a fan to cool the CPU down enough. But on the M1 Pro, I did try some games out. I played some Teamfight Tactics, StarCraft 2, and Divinity Original Sin 2. And they're not amazing. I'm not popping ultra graphics out at 4K or whatever, but at 1080, these are more than playable frames. It works pretty well, and never really had an issue, and the CPU never really even got hot at all. This computer is honestly so fast that there was times when I thought the computer froze. But in reality, it was just like that SpongeBob meme. It already finished the task before I even saw it start.
Wanna see me run to that mountain and back? You wanna see me do it again?
And I like the design of this new laptop. I like the thicker look. I like the kind of square, boxy look to the whole thing. The all-black keyboard, I think looks good. I know some people hate it, but I like the thing. And the notch, you know, the notch is dumb. But I'll take a notch to get a better webcam. And in reality, after a day or so of use, you kind of forget the notch is there. Since it lives in the toolbar, you're not really looking up there ever. And with this new display too, yes, we can complain about the notch all we want, but in reality, I'm getting more enough screen real estate, especially at this resolution. And the ProMotion 120Hz refresh rate, while it looks nice, after about an hour or two, you completely forget that it even exists, to be completely honest. Yes, I know that it does look good, and I have to acknowledge the fact that this screen is amazing, and also paired with really good speakers. Like, laptop speakers aren't usually that great. These ones are surprisingly really good. I don't really mind listening to things on the computer speakers now. And the only thing that got me both angry and happy at the exact same time were the ports. Because Apple brought back the ports. We have MagSafe, 3 USB-C ports, a headphone jack, an HDMI port, and of course the SD card slot. And when I unboxed this computer and saw those ports, I got so extremely happy. But at the exact same time, I have to acknowledge that the company that put these ports back on the laptop that we've been needing is the same company that took them away for some odd reason. And I got so used to not having ports that when the powers that be at Apple over here decide, hey, you can now have your ports back, I thanked them for it. Like, in reality, this is just the definition of an abusive relationship that I keep paying into because I guess I'm like lost or something. But then there I am using the laptop and it's so fast and getting my work done crazy quickly. I kind of just forgive everything and I'll put up with the abusive relationship that I'm in with Apple, you know? Sorry, Apple, don't hate me, please. Please, don't. And I didn't go with a 16-inch because I like the smaller size of a laptop. And I didn't go with the M1 Max because I knew for a fact there's no way I'd ever touch the power of that chip. But with what I got, I'm crazy happy. It is the fastest computer I've ever used, honestly, in my life. My work gets done so quickly now. It never feels like the stuttering. There's never like a point where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go make some coffee now because I have time to wait, and you don't. It's done already. And I love the design of this laptop. I'm happy the ports are back. I'm happy that Apple's kind of moving in this direction. I'm really excited to see where these chips keep going in the near future. But the question is, if you have a current M1 device, should you be upgrading to the M1 Pro or Max chips on these computers? And the answer is maybe. I mean, I myself don't really need to upgrade to the M1 Pro, but I want to, and you know, I'm dumb, so I will. But I think for a majority of people, if you already have an M1 computer, just stick with it. It's so good. If you are doing crazy workflows, then yeah, swap over. But I think for a majority of people that live in the browser, that do some emails, maybe some Photoshop, some video editing, you can get everything done on an M1 computer. But for the rest of you, the minority of people that are doing some absolutely crazy intensive work on your computer, maybe this is worth it for you. But overall, I love this computer. I kind of recommend it for very specific people, but still, my heart is with that M1 Air that I'm going to miss, because what a great computer. And just also what a great color. I'm kind of sad it's just space gray and silver, and the Pros are good, it looks more professional and all, but I like having weird color laptops, so whatever. Anyways, guys, any questions on the M1 Pro and this new MacBook Pro, leave them in the comments below. I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. And anything you want me to test, let me know. I'm gonna be doing a bunch more videos on accessories, how gaming actually works, some export tests, that kind of thing. So expect more M1 Pro videos coming. This is more of like a first look, first impressions type of thing, but more is coming. Again, any questions or anything you want to see, let me know so I can add that to the next videos coming up. So thanks, guys, and I'll see you soon.